Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Chelsea 2, Atletico Madrid 0. Chelsea winning 3-0 over the two legs, and finally, so happy to finally be able to say this, Chelsea through to the last day of the Champions League, winning a Champions League knockout tie for the first time in 7 years. Astonishing performance. I think, and it's easy to say just minutes after full time, for me, the best performance I've seen from Chelsea in about 5 years. I think you have to go back maybe to Conte that season, 16-17. In the Champions League, you have to go back quite a long way. I think you have to go to the PSG win in that second leg. But this was incredible. It was. I think the dominance that Chelsea showed tonight in all aspects of the game was just astonishing. It really was. I think it is the best performance under Thomas Tuchel so far. There's been so much improvement within this team. In many aspects, the counter press in both legs against Atletico was wonderful. Defensively, once again tonight, absolutely immaculate. Some of those performances, but as a unit, as a team tonight, how cohesive the team were, how decisive they were in possession, how cool, calm, collected, and also connected they were as a team. I think the way the patterns of play, the fact that so many players who I think in recent weeks haven't looked maybe on it, have had struggles this year, it really came to the fore tonight and performed massively for Chelsea when they needed it. I think this is a massive night for Chelsea. I said that when we beat Liverpool a few weeks ago, and I think that's in the context of the Premier League, being able to go to Anfield for the first time in 7 years and win. I think tonight for Chelsea competing seriously on the European stage, on the big European stage, I really hope tonight is a massive result for this club, because I think that so much talk recently about Chelsea standards and where Chelsea are. Can Chelsea compete in this type of competition once again, when we used to so regularly go to the latter stages of this competition? There's so many good teams this year, and we could get a very tough draw. There are many good teams who could knock us out. It's not about saying that Chelsea are going to go on and win this competition, but I think for the simple fact of Chelsea performing over two legs against a team like Atletico Madrid, who sure weren't at their best, but they're top of the Liga for a reason. They've been one of those teams in the Champions League over recent years that have won difficult ties away from home. Simeone's knack to win these games. The fact that Chelsea, two sides of Chelsea's game tonight over two legs, the mental side of the game and also just the playing side of the game, the tactical side of the game. I just think the way Tuchel got it, the way the players performed on the night, some absolutely massive performances from Chelsea players out there that I think all round you have to feel so optimistic about this club, at least for the short term, at least for the rest of this season, what it gives Chelsea now. You really hope that FA Cup quarter-final on Sunday, what an amazing chance for Chelsea to get into the semi-final once again and potentially win their first piece of silverware under Thomas Tuchel. The top four race, Chelsea in control of that. Chelsea can get into the top four. I just don't want to, I could be sat here for like 10 minutes speaking about all of that stuff, but we have to talk about the actual game, what actually happened in the game. And that team news, Christensen falling ill, which meant Kurt Zouma came into the back three, Dave Rudiger alongside him, Reece James as the right wing back. We know, I think all of us knew that the double six was going to be Kante and Kovacic. It was Marcos Alonso coming back in for Ben Chilwell. Hakim Ziyech starting. I think this is one of Tuchel's biggest calls tonight. Hakim Ziyech, given his recent struggles and something I've discussed on the channel, but of course we know how it turned out tonight for Ziyech, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. So Kai Havertz operating once again as that number 9, that false 9. I think the pressing game of Chelsea was wonderful. I think once again, really limiting Atletico's ability to counter-attack. I think is just, you saw the packs of players that Chelsea, cohesively a unit, moving from one side of the pitch to the other, chasing down that ball. I think the way Chelsea were able to very quickly assert control like they did in the first leg. I mean, there was for that brief spell in the first 5 to 10 minutes where you felt, Atletico committing more men forward. But the way Chelsea gained control of the game, and it wasn't just the fact that we gained possession like we did in the first leg. It was the way Chelsea, in particular, the movement on that front three, the way we got past the Atletico press from deep, passing out from the back, the way Kante and Kovacic, absolutely superb, covered so much ground. I mean, N'Golo Kante tonight, once again, absolutely astonishing. He's back to his best levels, superhuman levels for Chelsea once again. And when he's at that level, Chelsea have got a chance in any game. But I think the way we played it in between the lines and the way that front three interchanged and was so electric tonight in so many moments, I think Atletico really struggled to deal with that. I also think that Hakim Ziyech, who of course scored the first goal, we'll get to the goal, but I think the reason he played so well tonight, looked much more like the player we saw back in the autumn, I think was because Reece James was on the pitch. These two actually haven't played together a lot under Thomas Tuchel so far. I think they started against Liverpool together. We weren't really attacking down the right that night. Tonight we were attacking more down the right, and I think the fact that Ziyech, Reece James as a wing back, more licensed to roam forward, getting into those areas that we haven't seen from him recently, I think the way those two have that chemistry once again, which I was a little bit frustrated that maybe had been lost since the change of manager. We're seeing that once again and how deadly it can be for Chelsea. I think the way Timo, Kai Havertz, I think having his best Chelsea performance, I think in the nature and the importance of a game like this, the amount of amazing touches, the intelligent movements, the way he players in, I think all round Kai Havertz, there were some lovely moments from that front three, and the way they connected for that goal, a counter-attacking goal, the sort of goal that Atletico would love to score. It was Timo Werner, his hard work, closing down Trippier, getting a deflection to his cross. N'Golo Kante once again, who was so instrumental for Chelsea in the middle of the park, bursting forward, that energy that Atletico couldn't cope with. Koke and Saunages could not deal with Kante and Kovacic, but in particular Kante through to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz played a few wonderful passes through, but this was just a delicate pass, and it was the sort of pass that Timo Werner thrives off of. But I think for the first time, predominantly for Chelsea, we use Timo Werner the way he's supposed to. I think there has been a misunderstanding of Timo Werner, at least when you bring in a player like that who excelled at Leipzig last season. You need to understand what his strengths are, and his strength is in transition, having space in front of him, playing the ball in front of him. That's what Chelsea did so well tonight on several occasions in the first and second half. And Timo, in that space, looked up, found Hakim Ziyech where you want in the box, players running into the box, which has been a problem for Chelsea recently. And it was a brilliant finish, of course, by Hakim Ziyech, just hit the target. I think Oblak actually should have been doing a lot better from it, given the stature of this goalkeeper. But it's deadly from Chelsea. It's the sort of goal Chelsea used to score in the Champions League. It reminded me a little bit of the Drogba goal against Barcelona in that semi-final in 2012. But Ziyech, a massive moment personally for him. He's had so much struggle recently. Where is he going to fit within this team? A big performance personally for him. And I think the fact that the three big attacking signings combining tonight so wonderfully on such a big night for Chelsea, I think not only will bring a smile to Tuchel's face, bring a smile to Chelsea fans' face, but also I'm sure to Roman's face too, because we've invested a lot on that front three, and there's been so much talk recently about investing more on this attack. I do think this attack has the talent, and I'm not just saying this because of tonight, I was saying it earlier to someone else on Twitter. I think that it does have the talent within there to become a very productive and threatening front three, and we saw that in spades tonight on several occasions. And I actually think Chelsea deserved to be in front, given the way they started the game, very energetically, very positively, progressively too. And really, I mean, the way the game panned out, how dominant Chelsea were. I mean, Simeone, he switched to a back three, he switched then to a back four, he made so many alterations just in the early part of the second half. Luis Suarez, the way he was shut off tonight, I think is such a sign of how dominant Chelsea centre-backs were, especially Antonio Rudiger. He has done a number on Luis Suarez in his previous two games, and I think if you'd have said that to people a few months back, they probably wouldn't have believed you. But Antonio Rudiger, he was a monster back there. He was absolutely incredible. I said against Leeds on Saturday, he had a wonderful performance. Tonight was even better. The quality of forward he has come up against in recent weeks, and the way you can add a list of players now that he is putting in his back pocket, and just completely the aggressive nature. And there is a concern sometimes with the speed of movement of someone like Suarez, of someone like Joao Felix, especially Suarez, and Dembele when he came on too. That if you overcommit, that Rudiger can do at times, that you can make a mistake. That's not the case at all. I think how aggressive Antonio Rudiger was, and also Kurt Zouma, I think in a role that I don't think is best suited for his game in the middle of a back three where he struggled against Southampton. He performed wonderfully as well. The aggression in Chelsea's defending tonight and pressing was superb. And that's what you need in a game of this level. And Chelsea had it. And it's something that we have lacked in recent years. That fight in these big games is a simple thing, but we had it back tonight. And it was wonderful to see, because Chelsea, nearly every 50-50 ball that was there to be won, got won by a blue shirt. And that's what you need. It's those small, fine margins. It's that mentality in games like this where in the past we felt with a similar group of players have been lacking, but tonight it was there 100%, and that's why Chelsea completely shut Atletico Madrid out. I mean, in terms of chances, they had to wait to the 92nd minute. A wonderful save as well to keep a clean sheet once again and to stop those nerves. And I think Chelsea, it was just, there were many occasions I think we could have done more on the break, to be honest, even after the subs that Tuchel made late on. I think our ability to find Timo Werner, I think, was really encouraging. Timo didn't miss any massive chances tonight. I think just my sort of belief tonight and the confidence, I think, hopefully for Timo and also for Ziyech as well, and Kai threading balls through to him, the way we were able to find him so consistently behind the Atletico Madrid defence, I think hopefully will give Tuchel, the players, and as well Timo Werner lots of confidence that we can sort of get the best out of him. It's not going to be the case in every game, because not every game you're going to get the space like that, but I think that Timo excelled and Kai excelled and Ziyech excelled, and so many of those players tonight put out their best, and it's why Chelsea was so dominant. And of course the goal in added time, Emerson of all players. I mean, if there was one player you felt tonight wouldn't be on the score sheet, I think Emerson would have been probably top of my list, because I didn't expect him to even come on. But it was a breakaway goal. Chelsea had several breakaway chances. I have to talk about Savage as well, the red card. I loved it from Antonio Rudiger. I know Rudiger's probably done something to aggravate Savic. He falls for it. It's almost the dirty side of the game that Atletico thrive off of. And Chelsea excelled at that part of the game and sort of played Atletico at their own game, but also played them off the park over two legs. And it almost reminded me a little bit of the David Luiz moment with Man United a few years back. I loved seeing it. The way Rudy clearly got into the heads of every Atletico attacker tonight and really did them and done Savic at that corner, and it helped Chelsea have more men in the final third. I think it really killed Atletico, sort of their momentum. Everything Simeone tried tonight tactically against Thomas Tuchel's team didn't work, and I think it's a testament as well that without players like Mason Mount, who've been exceptional for Chelsea, without players like Jorginho, who've been really good recently, and Christensen too, who's been brilliant, you bring Kurt Zouma back in, I think it says a lot about this group of players, the unity within this squad, the positivity between this squad. I think the way we saw Thiago Silva, almost like a manager, I mean, he was really into it in the stands. It was wonderful to see Mason and Georgie there too, celebrating at the end, and it's what they need in this squad. I think that they need it moving forward, and I think it says a lot about Tuchel's system, that he is rotating players in and out, but they're performing for him, they're getting the right results when he makes big calls that maybe when you look at the team at the start, I have to be honest, I didn't think Ziyech maybe deserved a start, but it pays off big in the end, and that's a credit to the coach when he makes those big decisions and they pay off. It's massive, and I think this is a massive landmark result for Chelsea. I don't think you can understate it. I think we could get Bayern Munich in the next round, we could get an incredible team in the next round, right, and we could be knocked out, but I think the psychological effect this will have hopefully on the players for the rest of this season, but as I keep on saying, moving into next season, where you hope that Chelsea can go to another level with this group of players. I just think it was wonderful. I'm probably missing out players because I think nearly every player on that pitch had an amazing game, arguably their best game of the season, and I know that's probably hyperbole, but it's massive. It really is for this club. I know you guys are probably excited by it. I know you guys want to share thoughts and revel in this, and we'll wait to see what happens in the draw, see what happens there. We could face Liverpool, we could face Man City, we could face, of course, Bayern Munich too. I personally want Porto in the quarterfinal. If we get that, then I'm going to start to believe that maybe this year could be something extraordinary for Chelsea. But just for this night, it's a big landmark result for the club. It's a big landmark result for Thomas Tuchel. Early on in his reign, he's done so much good work so far defensively, but also offensively tonight. We saw that fluidity and clinical nature that we need in this team moving forward. You have to credit the team for that as well, and massive it really is. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this review. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonofChelsea, and I'll see you again.